All right, I think we are now officially live. Hey, everybody. Sorry for the lateness and everything. Oh, there's the chat updates now. Sorry for the lateness. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on the back end. 2020, of course, is kicking us in the butt all the way till December. But we are here. Welcome back to Saber Comp 2020. Congratulations to everyone who got their entry in. Thank you so much. We had, I believe, 29 entries, not including that teaser that we had, which would make it 30 because that teaser wasn't really like an entry, it was a teaser. But today, guys, we have with me Christopher. Christopher, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody in the chat.
Well, where do I begin? No, welcome to 2020, everyone. It's been a long time coming. So there's been some delays, some complications. But yeah, welcome. I'm Christopher. I've been a longtime member of the former LCC, now known as Saber. Got to stop doing that. But yeah, I'm a longtime colleague of Antoine, Max, and Lizzie. Like, we've participated in multiple contests over the years, and some of us have judged before, some of us are new. Just welcome. We can't wait to see what you guys brought and share it with everyone else.
What's some notable entries that you've been in the past that someone might recognize you from?
Well, I didn't win, so...
Yeah, you're Anakin Skywalker, right? We always say that you're on the council.
I'm not yet a master. No, I think my most infamous was Drift for the 2005 when we fought on the sand dune with our own Mike Frisk.
This year, a lot of sand dunes this year.
I know, there's a big theme of sand dunes.
Yeah, I remember from that entry that your thumbnail was so cool that year.
Well, 300 had just come out, so.
Well, hey Max, since you're speaking, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Max Jordan. I got started in the contest in 2011. Was my first time entering. I entered, I think 6 entries. I've won 2 entries with Loyalty and Recollection. And yeah, it's been great fun. And I'm enjoying being on the judging side of things this year and looking through all your entries.
And last but certainly not least, Lizzie, go and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little new here, so you have to excuse me if I accidentally fumble or anything. But my name is Lizzie Poling. I've worked a lot with Max. Let me see. I've only been in 3 entries, I believe. The most notable is Loyalty, which I was with Max in that one. And I've just been a huge fan of this contest for multiple years, and so I'm just happy to be here and very excited to be here, and I've had a lot of fun seeing all your entries. So
that is awesome. So guys, just to let you guys know about the schedule and what we're going to be doing today. Hold on, let me actually pull it up because I usually have it up right here. Okay, so obviously the times are off because we did not start on time. We didn't do the pre-show, so we're just going straight into it today. Little quick reminder though, we are reselling the Saber Comp shirts. So if you guys want that, it's going to be live for, I think, the next 20 days or 19 days. They're different now because they don't have the year on the back. Now we're just going to be doing legacy shirts so that we can just do it year round and use the same campaign over and over. So if you want to get one of those shirts, you've got about 20 days to do that. It's on bonfire.com/ I want to say SaberComp or something like that, but you can find it on our website or on the Discord or Facebook, wherever you're following us on. And
represent.
Oh yes, represent. There was a few entries. I forgot there was a certain entry. Someone had the shield, obviously, with
they brought it back this year.
An execution, and then there was another entry. What was it?
Perception.
Yes, Perception. He had the shirt, right? It was underneath.
He had a shirt, and then he had the logo on his gloves as well.
Yeah. So I'm liking that the logo is making the rounds. I love it. It's a really nice, simple logo. It looks like a Nike or like an Adidas, but like a favorite person. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty cool.
With a touch of kanji in there.
Kanji and a little bit of Abarash as well. So I like that a lot. And also shout outs to Ricky Elliott. You guys might know him. He's who I fought in most of the entries that I entered in with Ricky vs. Silent Bat. And oh, by the way, I introduced myself. I'm Antoine, but you guys probably know who I am at this point. I've been hosting this for the past 4 years. I have been in Saber Comp LCC since, oh my God, Spencer, you probably would know when I entered. When was it?
Oh God, let's see. I was in college, so what, 06?
Yeah, 06, 07, right around there. at that time, right?
You're like the Hugh Jackman of the Saber comp. Like, just won't go away.
Just won't go away. I keep coming back. So what we're going to be doing, as we have done in the past few years, is we're going to be doing the top 10 nominations. So we're going to be going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to have an intermission where we're going to deliberate on and choosing our winners. And then we're going to announce those winners afterwards, going from best choreography, production design, cinematography, editing, visual effects, popular vote, which just came in, which is awesome, and the overall entry awarded, in which we're going to have a special announcement. So stay around to hear about what's going to happen with the winners this year. But that is it. We're going to get right into it, y'all. Let's look at this first entry with this cool little system we have now, because StreamYard does a really neat thing. Watch this, guys. Watch this. 3, 2, 1. Boom! We're all watching at the same time. Absolutely no issue. I love it.
I'm so hyped.
So hyped. All right, here we go, guys. First entry. We're going in and now.
Number 1.
Okay. I'm trying to remember which
Love
one it
the
is.
logo. Like
Actually, kind of forgot. Yeah. Again, thank you again to Ricky Elliott for the logo design and the intro. Oh yes, Anakin and Obi-Wan. I really enjoyed this one.
So you guys might have seen something from these people before. They were the ones that were in that viral video a few years back about the two people fighting on the fencing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those are the two main guys from that.
Oh, those are the guys.
We got those guys.
Yeah.
Because they did all of the Anakin and Obi-Wan Mustafar fight, right?
Yeah.
Like oh my god, I did not know that. Oh my goodness.
And I just want to say, like, mad props to these guys for getting the style down. Like, this is pure episode 3, like, fighting style. I don't know how they did it.
Exactly. Yeah,
like,
that was my...
Like, right now, Obi-Wan is totally, and I'm a nerd, I'm going to talk about Form 3 and Ceresu and all that shit. He is doing the perfect rendition. This is perfect Jim So right here.
Right there is a required element move, by the way.
Right, which they did did they do the episode 3 move, right?
Yeah, except he actually took someone down with it. That's a nice touch.
It's nice variant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I must say,
Obi-Wan
I love the costumes in this one.
Oh, absolutely.
The accuracy is really, really amazing.
Yeah, because you see a lot of like Jedi robes. They look like they're made out of t-shirt material, but these actually have like some weight and thickness to them. So,
hey, there was one shirt this year. They had a shirt that looked like armor. Like we had Holocron that had the real armor.
I didn't realize it until I was like halfway in. I was like, wait a second. So the effect worked.
So I want to say that for me, especially the guy playing Anakin, his not just his choreography, but his physicality as well in performing it looked like straight out of episode 3 for me.
Oh yeah, he could be Hayden's stunt double. Like, we just cut away from him, but that kick he did is like just how he kicked Ewan McGregor in the face. Like it was just he has the movement down.
This is all Anakin. Like I look at this, I'm like, he just got Anakin. Like that's a style. And you know what's similar to for people who've played Battlefront 2 or just any of the Battlefronts, the more recent ones, where you can see the distinct style. Yeah, there you go, Chris. Styles of each character, right? That's what's happening right here. And this is amazing right here.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's a behind the scenes here. I think they took the blades out and were just swinging quickly so they could get the speed down. I believe he mentioned something like that in the Discord.
Oh, that must have been a painter rotoscope.
Yeah.
I also want to know where you guys shot this. This location is.
Yeah.
Like, Weaver speculated it's like a sound stage that has like multiple sets or something.
Right.
Oh, that would be dope.
Yeah.
Something for me that I wasn't quite sure the continuity of the Anakin side of this fight, because they jump, and this section or the section where they're in the kind of cafeteria kind of thing was my least favorite, because it kind of put it in our world a little bit.
Too much. But you can only do so much with your location.
It's space coffee.
And there's also like in the back and stuff like that, you know.
But there was a lot of kind of jumping around in the choreography there with the continuity a little bit for me.
It's like they moved to the bridge and then away and then back again.
The plays were in at all times.
Oh,
wow. That's impressive. I love this hand-to-hand bit though, right here.
Yeah, we've seen that shoulder bump is really nice right there.
Without putting anyone down, we've seen some bad hand-to-hand bits here. So that was actually a pretty solid one, and they kept it brief too.
The only critique I probably would have on this is that it gets a little like the action becomes so I guess, samey, that I didn't really feel a lot of back and forth or hills and valleys in the fight stuff, except for moments when we had to cut it obviously with the elevator. But in terms of like the blade work, I think it was very samey.
Well, I just couldn't help but thinking, especially in the Obi-Wan section, just like when you're this advanced, how do you get in there? Like you can't get past the opponent's saber because he's just so ready for any attack you have. But here's the solution: a second combatant shows up to find that gap.
Yeah.
Yes. I love how short this fight is.
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing.
He ain't Dooku.
Yeah. I'm just
it's actually what they tried with Dooku, I think, but he missed that because that move is actually, if I'm not mistaken, that is the move he does in the Dooku fight in the flagship, the Grievous's flagship, but he misses because it comes out into the. I don't know if that was the move or not.
I get what you're saying. It could be similar to that. I mean, they definitely studied those characters in depth, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're pulling all sorts of moves we didn't even catch.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I would also love to see the guy that played Anakin. I'd love to see him do a Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah,
his face also has a look of Kylo Ren as well.
Yeah, anyone who could do Anakin is likely to be able to do Kylo Ren as well.
Yep.
You skip a generation with Luke. I don't know where the youthful boyhood came from, but it wasn't the Anakin side.
Sam, what were you guys' overall thoughts about that entry?
It was very solid. Obviously, we're all very impressed. We're talking it up. Just excellent work on studying the style and knowing what you want to put out there.
I'm just impressed by the sheer amount of choreography was in that one. Just like that was. How long did it take you guys to like choreograph that and practice that? I would be curious to know because that was a lot.
Yeah. I would say that I wanted a little bit more story in the choreography. The fight, the episode 3 fight doesn't have a huge amount of story in the choreography because we already know what's happening in that one. But this one, we're just kind of like, here's the two friends, and then here are a bunch of nameless bad guys. I want to know a little bit more about that, and then also the opening fight with all of the people. The energy was a little bit lower than once they got down to 1v1 combatants.
Yeah.
Just so I wanted to see a little bit more energy in that opening sequence.
And to piggyback off what you're saying, Mac, I do agree on the front of yes, the amount of choreography is cool and everything. And the fact that we know what's going on with Anakin and Obi-Wan in the context of that fight is the reason why we have so much heart into that. But also additionally on that, in terms of like the lore of Star Wars or whatever, like the idea with Anakin and Obi-Wan was that they knew each other so well. And that's the reason why like it looked almost like a dance. Cause it's like, it's just their sparring sessions just playing out over years and years of just knowing each other.
Why they couldn't
that
connect.
narrative. Right, exactly. So that narrative like is all building. But in something like this, where you are, like you're saying, you're fighting these random baddies, you got to have like kind of a different kind of flavor to it because like Dooku's really interesting because he's kind of a fencer, and that's always kind of been Anakin's kind of foil a little bit that he had to overcome. So like maybe I didn't even do that pun. I didn't even pun unintended. But yeah, it's a good job. Yes, like he's the foil for Anakin. So having some like the combatants challenging that and showing that, because I don't think we got as much personality from our Darksiders as we did from Anakin and Obi-Wan in the entry. And I think if you pair a really good story and a narrative fight with you guys' performance, like y'all are gonna kill it.
Yeah.
But I would say like the costumes were amazing. And like the camera work wasn't doing a huge amount, but it was just showing the choreography, which was
that's the thing about that. But you're right, because I was actually just enraptured by the choreography, like because the performance was really good. They could show everything that they didn't really involve the camera as much as they could have.
My only note from that, I also have to steal from Weaver's commentary where he was talking about like the kill move from Obi-Wan. Like it's kind of weird that he kills the guy off screen after all that.
Right.
This is true.
But I mean, that's, it's an artistic choice. It's what they want to do. Because they did show the reaction after, like, I got hit. But it's, even when I was watching, I was like, oh, he just got him. Like, I don't think there should be any doubt in that moment. Like, he should be confirmed kill.
Right. And inserts are very important, which insert is when you punch in into like a specific action so that you can, make note of it. Like usually in like sitcoms or like a regular TV, you'll see someone like grab keys on the desk and they're like, you know,
yeah. I mean, unless the story requires that, the audience shouldn't be guessing about what just happened. They should know.
Which we have some entries coming up that do that. So when that does come up, I'll make sure to point that out when someone has some inserts that are really well done, because those are very important. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and move on into our next entry, which is, I'm not sure what it is.
I believe it is Sith Die Repeat.
I like this one. I like this one. Very similar to a certain polling.
Yeah, it's very similar to an entry my brothers made. I have no idea what year it was. It was the year before Loyalty. So
there's been a lot of entries.
Yeah. I think it was like 2013 or something.
Oh, this looks very much like, what is it? What's the planet called? Achu?
Acto? I don't know.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I've only read it. This, I like this gimmick because I've never seen like a holocron used this way before.
Right. I really enjoyed it too. I'm not a huge fan of the wide angle. They used it pretty well, but you know, it's an interesting creative choice.
I do wonder if they only like owned a GoPro and that's just what they went with.
Well, I think actually part of it is like the location. Like the location itself is gorgeous, but also a little tight. It looks like.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
for the opening shot, I would have done away with the stabilizing because it just turned into jelly, the jelly effect a little bit. But I really like these kill moves and then how he counteracts it later on.
This just reminds me of so many boss fights in like Jedi Academy games. Like I just you hit.
Okay,
it's like,
this is so cool.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Like what? He must just have been chopped into pieces right there.
Oh yeah. I like the progression in the acting where like each time he's getting more used to knowing what's going on.
I like that one. He's like, I'm gonna already block. He's like, wait, what? What are you doing?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I like the little effect for cutting through them too. It's pretty simple what they're doing, but it sells it.
Yeah. And the good way to sell the progression here.
This close-up is nice.
Yeah.
See, it took Tom Cruise about 2 hours to do this story. He wrapped it right up.
Good slow-mo.
Yeah. Good use of slow-mo.
And
man,
also,
that is kids. That's dangerous.
This jump here
at home.
Yeah.
This jump he does coming up. I don't remember where it is, but the bad guy does
Power Ranger flip.
Oh my Spider-Man.
That was epic.
Yeah.
Just like yeah, I mean for fighting on rocks, this is really good, but don't do this at home.
Yeah, see, our main precaution was like for COVID, and y'all are gonna fall and break your necks.
Yeah,
like, we can make this more dangerous.
Love this payoff right here.
It's like, how about I just destroy everything? But I do agree with Ryan that it was like the story beat, because I also agree that the fight would continue, and then he was just on his own, like he wouldn't be able to have the repeats go anymore. But then it just kind of like gets to him coming back to it. It's like what? There's like a missing beat in between there.
Oh yeah, and I would have liked to see him win of his own accord or something, or just plain lose again and show like he was relying on the thing, whichever way you want to go. But
I'd say oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just kind of basically agreed that, like from a story standpoint, like it was a nice change up from what you would expect, but after seeing him like die and die and die again, it's like kind of just complete the progression and just be like, he did it, he won, he's now achieved a higher level.
Like, is he actually a good fighter, or does he just know what's going to happen? That's sort of the question you want to resolve there.
Yeah, I mean, just because like the way the acting sold it made it feel like he got way more confident, like not just as like, I know what's going to happen, but like he figured out a plan and he now like has honed his fighting skills a little bit better. That's just the acting played it up. So I kind of wish to be like, and now I have received training kind of moment.
Yeah, what I'm reminded every time, like to go back to the video game analogy, every time I like log into one of these games and I haven't played it for a couple of months, I'm like, oh, well, I definitely just suck at this. I just knew it was going to happen before because of the constant reboots. Like,
so also I will say that props to you on rotoing wide angle lens lightsabers. That's gotta suck on some close-ups. But
Mhm.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Hold
so-
on. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah. So just overall, just kind of good job on that one.
Yeah,
It was just a
yeah,
fun. I'd actually really like to see if you do a sequel to it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Bold choice on the setting.
I'm a sucker for the narrative. Like it really it goes a long way to have a narrative. I feel like and
Oh,
put that in the
okay.
story. Yes,
Here
this
we
is
go.
just gorgeous.
Yes.
The first of our sand entries.
Yes.
Man, like
I love the weathering on this lightsaber.
yeah.
Really good. Really nice.
I want to assume
so
that's
inserts,
still
guys,
the
so-
Skywalker saber, like years later.
yeah, so that's the same one.
Yeah.
But yes, look at this entry in particular. They do a very good job of inserts, like right there, insert. You know, it seems like it's such a small thing, and it's something that a lot of beginner filmmakers just don't really consider, but it's so important for clarity.
And nice.
Do you know how hard it would be to deflect a blaster bolt with a blade like that?
Yeah.
If you're a Jedi, if you're forced to.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
So this guy has entered for several years now, and this is definitely his most cinematic entry he's done.
Okay.
Is this our shield guy? Yeah, because the girl, the Twi'lek, has
it's the guy who does the cookies and cream and the kids fighting in the playground. He's always
yeah.
He was a lot of fun.
Did you guys notice the off-screen kill? Just because
Yeah,
we were talking
with the
about
light.
off-screen kills.
I love that.
That was a good one because it was like showing the reaction of the
Sorry, here
teammate
comes
after
my
someone that
favorite
was
shot.
dying.
Right here.
Which I think
That's just
what the GoPro shot.
the GoPro shot just right.
This is why I love these things. They're so creative and like they always give us at least one or two like very new shots. You know.
Yeah. And I really have liked his entries for the last few years, and they've been really fun. But I'm a sucker for like a serious dramatic fight. Like that's what I like, and so I really appreciated the turn for this one.
Yeah.
For him doing a little more serious.
That's just healthy for your skill set is to shake it up, try different genres, and just see what you can do with it.
I will say here once she loses the shield, I wanted him to pick it up and use it for the rest of the fight.
I know, me too. I was like, go for the shield.
He doesn't need it.
And I wanted her to use it a little bit more too. I think she lost it a little bit too quickly. It was just like it kind of rushed her, and I wanted to see a little bit more with the shield work. Going back to what you're saying, Lizzie, about the reaction, because I think you were saying that specifically because of what we had in the Anakin Obi-Wan situation, and how we wanted for. So in that situation, we wanted maybe like a bad guy in that situation or someone on the off screen if they were choosing that kind of a shot. You need some sort of reaction. It doesn't have to be an insert of the kill itself, but some sort of reaction. You know.
And good job with for doing like multi-person fights for instead of having someone off screen or just kind of wall stepping while they're waiting for their turn to fight, they go off screen a lot.
Yes.
And props to you for doing that, because that's a really tough thing to choreograph in and make look right.
And you're framing it too. So if you're framing it where they're out, then you don't have to worry about them doing the kung fu wailing as they call it or whatever. Like because you're just like, very good effect.
Yeah.
Nice little blood spurt there.
Okay. This fight coming up right here, I think, is my favorite part of this entry.
You know, this reminds me of Yadi's entry from maybe 2 years ago, where they're just like walking on the side of each other, like looking at each other.
Yeah,
they square up. Yeah.
This is all one shot right here. This is all one take.
It's a slow spin.
Oh, I missed
that.
Ooh, don't throw your saber, you.
I think that's okay, honestly. Like
yeah.
Not when you're facing a Jedi. Like there's nothing good that's going to happen from throwing your saber.
Are they not both Jedi, or is it just one Jedi?
Ooh.
I don't even know if either of them are
necessarily. Well, we know for sure he is, because he does force.
Yeah.
Blood bin him at the end.
They're just really competitive arms dealers.
Part of me was wondering why he didn't pull this out earlier. I wanted to see what pushed him to this point a little bit more, story-wise, like why he's able to finally reach this dark eye moment. I wanted to see that a little bit earlier.
I mean, I get it because he's on his knees, sort of. So it's maybe like that moment when you know you're done.
Right, but he was already there at the very beginning of the film.
Sure.
And so I wanted to see a little bit of hint of this before. Like he tries to get there, maybe, but it doesn't quite work.
Well, at the beginning, he kind of had a plan. He's like, well, I'll just have my hands here. I'll get him to cut it. So it's like maybe he was thinking his way out of it. But here he's just like weaponless on his knees in defeat. And he's just summons even if it was like, if I understand the dark side of the force correctly, it's not always a conscious thought, right? It's more like your subconscious coming out, and it's like the Venom symbiote or something. You're not fully in control. So it's just like, maybe it's not that he chose to summon it. Maybe it just came out of him. That could be what he's trying to convey, but you're right that he needed to somehow
Which on the Discord
better.
he did mention that he was thinking of it as like a dark avatar state, but with the force basically, in which like it's a defense mechanism that it's like, oh, you're about to die. It's similar to how the force kind of works. Like we have that with Baby Yoda. Yes, I know his name is Grogu. I'm calling him Baby Yoda. Like
spoilers.
Mandalorian. Yeah, which is funny because sometimes in Mandalorian, like there'll be a time where it's like, all right, he's gonna pull something out, and he doesn't. I'm like, but what's the consistency of him pulling this out? But the idea of the force thing, because I heard that a lot where people were like, why didn't they just do that in the first place? There is lore behind it that isn't really conveyed that well, I think, on screen, and it's the idea of there being a force wall that you're trained to have always. So like at the beginning of a fight, just similar to like a real life fight, when you're boxing or something like that, their defenses start lowering in the later rounds, right? They get more sloppy. Very similar to Jedi fighting too. So at the beginning of the round, you're probably very fresh. You have your force wall like covering you as like a passive ability. But as you go on, as someone might be winning, or there might be some circumstance where I need to bust out my power, you can subvert that other person's like force bubble. Now it doesn't make so much more sense when you're fighting non-force sensitives, because it's like, you can just toss them around all the time, and sometimes in some of these media projects, but that is a thing.
Hold on, Antoine, I'm taking notes for your book.
He said in chat, it says he couldn't control it until it took over.
Right,
which I would think is almost as if it's like another entity.
Who's the expert? Come
on.
Yeah.
So,
props to you for being able to fight in sand without like falling on your face.
Oh yeah.
I think the reason they were able to pull it off is because of, and again, cinematography kind of helping along the choreography, right? Because they were punching in when there was a lot of movement. Because if you were to pull out on those shots, you probably would have saw some awkward, moving in the sand and like not being able to like really go at it. So what they did is that they punched in, to maybe like mid shots or medium close-ups, so you don't see that awkwardness in the footwork. And I think that, I don't know if you guys did that intentionally, but that's what I kind of got from it.
Yeah, no, and I could appreciate that because the entry I mentioned before, Drift, like we had a not as experienced as you like cameraman, so he was doing all these wide shots, but he didn't tell us. Like you could tell our legs were struggling to power through this stuff, and that that probably slowed down the fight. So if we had done tighter shots like they do here, like the intensity is there because you're just seeing motion, not friction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So something, and I don't know if it was like a camera issue or a setting issue, but there was a lot of motion blur on the fight.
Yeah,
I would have brought the shutter speed up a little bit more, and had the camera be just a touch more steady.
Just a little bit.
So that your actions, your movement was just a touch sharper. It's a very subtle thing, because also how bright everything is, the whole image is kind of flat visually, like there isn't a lot of contrast separating the people from just kind of the gray brown of the background, and
especially when it's just like all sand dune behind them,
and then the flat blue sky, and so I would have just up the shutter speed or shutter angle depending on the kind of camera just a touch, and then I think that would have helped even.
I also noticed that's sort of their style, because that's that same Raka Raka, is that the name of that YouTube channel, that crazy one? Like they also have that same aesthetic.
Right. I also you did some like reframing and like animation of the camera in post to follow the motion, but because there was a lot of motion blur built in, like just captured on the screen, some of the motion blur was kind of going the opposite direction of whatever animation you were doing. And so it's a technical giveaway that it's something, because I do VFX all the time, I'm noticing. I'm not sure how many other people are noticing that kind of thing a lot, but it was just a small little thing that it triggers that little bit of uncanny valley of like, so, okay, something's not quite all the way captured in game.
This is why Max has better cinematography than me.
Yes, exactly. Cinematography, there's a lot of math involved, and like I don't like that.
Definitely.
Like, give me not my iPhone; it just points and shoots for me. You know, like
I know I'm such a point and shoot filmmaker. Like as soon as I bought a DSLR, I was like, why'd I do this to myself?
I had to highlight this comment here, but you could definitely say that entry had solid execution. I just had to. I had to do it.
I saw your smug grin. You were, you know.
Can you, Antoine, can you pop up Scott Garcia's comment? Because it's
which one?
Standard shutter speed is twice the frame rate, or as close as you can get to it. So 40.
So if you're 24, then you're
150.
Yeah.
150. Okay.
Yeah.
So also if your camera
that's
what was that?
That's Jedi Pastor.
Yep. Yeah, he's in this trailer.
Oh, hey, I haven't seen him in forever. Oh my God. Hey, Scott, we're going to be doing a thing in 2 years. Well, I want all the previous people to come back, all the big hitters. I'm going to talk to you later, okay?
Save it for the green room.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah. Yep. So
I think that one was really solid.
Yeah. Just as a side, yeah, Scott Garcia. We haven't heard from this guy in forever. Jedi Pastor and
it's been a long
LPC. Yeah, dude, definitely reach out to us because we want to hear what you've been up to.
Yeah. Okay. So here we have Fallen Order, which is also by those saber fighting people, the ones that did the Anakin Obi-Wan. This was their second entry.
Oh,
okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
This guy does look a little bit like Cal.
I know he does. I love his Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually just played the game for the first time this year. It is a really like the story in particular and Cal as a character. Like I really enjoyed that game. That guy is such a wholesome dude. Like you don't have enough like wholesome characters anymore. Like I want my Peter Parkers back and shit. You know.
I just see his frustration with Fallen Order is my frustration with Fallen Order. That is the hardest game I've ever played.
Oh, see, you had to play it on what is it, Jedi Knight or something, and then it's a lot more fun.
If you want to lower your anyway, let's move on.
Okay, this transition coming up right here is I thought it was really cool where he stands up and then all of a sudden he's just in costume.
Yeah.
Like, very simple but very effective.
It was a bit of a jump cut for me. I might have shown him finish the stand, but still, yeah, it was a good idea. Good.
All right, and that's good to know because there is a thing called cutting on action, and the idea of that is that you get a cleaner cut if you start on the actual like right now. I'm like coming in screen, right? Like you want to cut as I'm moving into the screen as like the next cut moment versus I've seen a lot of entries this year, which kind of like you can see the start of their motion kind of happening.
And they do it in the fight, so I was a little surprised that they, didn't do it for the still moment. But whatever. Let's move on.
So this one, my main note was addressed as well by Ryan on his video that this was kind of the fighting is a little fancy without the motivation there for them to be fancy.
To be fair to them, I believe that they're doing a lot of stuff that is from the gameplay itself.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
that game is unnecessarily fancy too.
Right. Okay. Well then maybe it's a really good.
This is just how Cal fights.
Their movements in the they're playing on the tropes of the game itself, just to give them credit.
Yeah. So I can't really fault them for that if they're playing out a character. Same way for Obi-Wan Anakin. So
yeah.
Okay.
I would say that yes, the choreography is a little fancy, a little twirly, but like the fighters themselves, they have very solid stances, very solid blocks. The power behind them.
Just stop looking at the blade. Look at his legs. Like this guy knows where to step every move.
Yeah. And like he's using his range. Like every time he does that long stab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I would say these are really good performers. I'd love to see them do like maybe something that's a little less fancy. I mean, don't get me wrong, fancy is really cool to watch, and I'm impressed that you guys can like switch the blades from hand to hand so fast. It's just
I actually think fancy is cool. You got to insert a narrative into it because, like, right now, like in terms of the fight that we just saw right now, it's just that it was very samey. Like, you didn't really get a sense of like who's winning here, like what's the dynamic. It's just kind of like blade.
Yeah, it is very dance-ish to me.
To be fair, that's how I feel about the Inquisitors in general.
Yeah, and so there's that. There is that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the game, so like I maybe I should take a look at it. I did want to play a little bit more with the gimmick of the game and this in real life. That I feel like there was a lot of fun things you could do with that.
You know, he needs here a QuickTime event.
Oh my
Oh, that would be
That'll
hilarious. Live action quick time events.
And then he just hits the wrong button and game over.
Oh god. Yeah. Oh, I like what you guys were saying about like adding. What were you guys saying? Narrative. There you go. That's the word.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Of like that would have been like, especially with this entry, I felt like what you could have just done is that he realized that what he had to do was escape the game like way earlier in the fight, and then the fight became getting to the computer. Like that would have just made it.
Yeah.
That,
If you could just put a little more Tron in your Star Wars entry, that'd be great.
Now, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but for me, one of my favorite, I would say, dancey but narrative-based fights is the Obi-Wan Maul fight at the end of, like, right when he comes out of the turbine, or not turbine, the
laser
thing, right?
gate. Yeah.
Where you feel that, you feel Obi-Wan's anger about, like, yo, Maul, like, I'm about to just come at you with everything. And yes, it is a very dancey, flourishy fight, but because there is that like narrative drive behind it, and also the faces, because they cut into like close-ups of like, you know, Obi-Wan, like, his teeth, that kind of thing for me propels it so that like the really awesome choreography also has this really good narrative moment that I can latch myself onto.
Yeah, like that scene is 30 seconds long, but it's like the highlight of the movie. Like I've watched that thing
And
probably 100 times.
Yeah.
Like I probably know it beat for beat. I've watched so many times, but because the intensity is there, it's not the fact that they're flashy. It's because you know they're so good. If they don't perform this way, they're going to lose. Like they have to find that opening, like the check that Gillard was always talking about. They have to find their way past the check.
Yeah,
and that's very difficult for a skilled flashy fighter to do. So
and
they did.
Gillard, guys, you don't know, he was the stunt coordinator for the prequel trilogy movies.
Oh, they all know. What do you?
I mean, sometimes generations, man, we don't know.
Is everyone up on their Phantom Menace bonus features? I believe we are.
Yeah, I guess that would actually be a critique for quite a few of the entries I think this year, is just that I wished, like, the fights are really solid and fights can be very entertaining to watch, but the ones that really like stick with you are the ones that have a narrative and have an emotion. And so those just make fights a little more compelling, and you get a little more invested into like how it turns out. And then
I would say that for you guys. I say this every year, and I'm a broken record, but I say that for loyalty every year. Like I would probably say, like in terms of like best performed, I would say probably was it Prevail? Was Prevail the one in the field?
On the gravel. Yeah.
On the gravel? Yeah.
Yes, Prevail on the field, yes.
It was on the field, right? So I think that one's probably you guys' best performed entry, but it's not the one that sticks with me the most. Loyalty is the one that sticks with me the most because there is that narrative drive in there.
Speaking of narrative, this is one of the ones.
They almost had the perfect framing right there. If they had just stopped a second earlier with that camera track,
a little pushing,
get the pillars front and center, it would have been perfect. You're that close.
Yes, but this one right here, it has a narrative, it has a story. It's very tiny. There's no words, but you still care. You're like, he's there to get the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Jedi Pastor's son.
Oh,
is it?
Really?
Oh,
awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. No wonder there was narrative language that we had.
The light and dark, and the white shirt and black shirt.
The pastor's older than I took him for.
Or I mean, like I think he was already adult when we were on the forums back in the day.
That might have been it.
But this one is another one that did a really good job, or a pretty good job. There are a few moments here and there, but
Wait, did he?
Just threw it at him.
Of choreographing the
what?
If someone isn't fighting, they're like on the edge or off screen.
Right.
That was something I appreciated on this
There was
one.
a few that were just kind of like hanging there. And when you do have people on screen and you can't get them away, that's when you kind of need that kung fu, I'm just waiting to get my hit in kind of thing, just so there's like activity in the back.
And I like these. He does this
a brave choice.
He does this same kill move twice, 2 or 3 times, or twice he does it, where the flip a saber around and backhand him. It felt very Witcher to me.
See, now that one I haven't played.
Scott, because he seems like he's grown. He's a grown boy.
Yeah.
I love this moment right here where he just like gets right back up.
We might have needed maybe
Yeah.
another cut to the bad guy though, because we don't know as he's doing his skip up and getting back up. We kind of need a reaction shot to like, okay, what's the bad guy doing right now? Because at this point, like you would think, he's trying to stab down or something,
Yeah, he didn't even watch the kip up. What a jerk.
Yeah. What I liked about this is actually how short each of the fights are, because like it's a bunch of tiny little fights all put together. They're really short.
Yeah.
Speaking about people who look like Cal Kestis, this guy looks like Cal Kestis.
Right?
For real.
If Cal got a perm.
Oh,
actually, I gotta admit, when I first saw it, I was like, when did Carrot Top find a Wayfinder?
I wanted a couple more cutbacks to the girl reactions during the fight.
Yeah.
She's reacting.
Just to stay, because overall, one of my notes was that I didn't feel the threat that the girl was under as much.
Yeah, it's more like
she felt more like bait to get him there at first.
Yeah. And so I understood his motivation to get there, but I just wanted just a tiny little bit more of threat. Another thing is, and it just left me.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say she was like Lizzie's saying, she was bait to get there, but she wasn't actually put in danger during the fight. Like you see a lot of scenes like this from Hollywood, and like at the last minute the bad guy's going to grab the girl and hold her, like her or me, basically. Something like that kind of worked in, might have upped the stakes near the end there.
And the cutting back to her a couple more times would have been nice. Also Jedi Pastor, we keep calling him Jedi Pastor, his name's Scott,
that's his name.
Yeah. He said those are both his sons, so I'm assuming the main bad guy and the good guy.
Wow, this is insane.
Wow, he's been busy.
I'm looking forward to when my daughter Emily can be in a fight. Like, she's only 2.5 right now, but just gotta wait a couple more years. She already loves lightsabers and dying dramatically, so I'm
you should do something with her right now. If she dies dramatically, that's so cute.
My daughter is
my Padawan.
My daughter's due in March, and I assume she already likes lightsabers.
What? I didn't know you. I'm sorry, guys. This is something I just found out right now. When did you announce that?
On my Facebook, you're supposed to read it.
Hey, you know what? Facebook's algorithm is weird. They don't show. You have to go to people's pages actively now to see what. Anyway, sorry, this is completely off topic. But congratulations, by the way. Oh my God.
Thanks.
You guys know gender yet or no?
Yeah, it's gonna be a girl.
Oh my. Okay, sorry guys. I'm sorry. I'm gushing on people's.
having my own little youngling.
I just love children and just people life. It's nice. Always nice.
Now you have a reason to come visit.
Back on the entry. So that move that he did 3 or 4 times in the entry.
He did twice.
Which you know what? If it ain't broke, if it's gonna sucker that guy, let's see if it'll work on this guy. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it would have benefited a reaction shot because there were times where it was kind of again that off-screen kind of a thing. And again, if you don't want to show the stab in the neck, whatever, completely fine. But maybe show the bad guy going like that, or with the glow next to him, something that we the impression of it, because you kind of understand the language of it, but you really kind of need that extra stamp.
Same thing with that one kill move where we had to question again. He threw the saber, but because of the angle, it wasn't quite there. We couldn't tell what happened. Which maybe on the set they couldn't tell. Maybe they thought they got it on the small screen, but something like that. You just want to make sure you're getting it just right, so that the audience doesn't have to wonder.
Right.
And something for the next level up in choreography. This was really good choreography. Something for doing the next level up would be that kill move. Have it work the first 2 times, and then the bad guy sees it, and you try it on him, and he figures out. There was something we did in Loyalty. We did a move 3 times, and
then the first time I was I know what your thing is. It's kind of like Harry Potter with Expelliarmus. It's that's his signature move. Okay, got that.
And this is something that was cool, was seeing them switch up their typical roles. Usually the guy in the beard plays the bad guy and the other one plays the good guy, but cool seeing the switch.
I'm gonna admit I'm a fan of these guys. Every entry they've done just blows me away.
Yeah,
and I just love. I was oh, so that beard can be used for good.
Okay, this is super cool right here.
this-
don't think I've ever seen that as much.
This
Yeah.
entry is straight up a horror movie. Like I was
I know.
terrified by some of the visuals
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
I was definitely like, this is the most like thriller / horror movie any of the entries have been, or
Yeah.
I've seen in this contest before, and Star Wars with the exception of the Vader scene. But also, I would say that I almost thought some parts of the fight, especially as you get farther in, were like there was too much music or like soundscaping going on. I almost wanted like less and play with the fear of the sounds and the noise and the vocals,
like
the vocal
quiet.
foley.
Yeah, this would have been a good entry to go musicless on, I think.
I'm cool with a lot of like good
moments
atmosphere and like sub bass rumble and a lot of that kind of stuff. There was just a few moments where I was like, this is there's a lot of sound going on. I almost wanted a little less, and I also know that they said it's unfinished, which I know how much it hurts to enter an unfinished entry. Like I've done it.
Did you notice the
before.
misaligned roto a little bit? Like,
Yeah, I love
that. It hurt me.
We have to talk about that cut because it's just what they do is do a huge flash frame after he does that uppercut saber swipe, and then you just get the big flash, and the flash gets smaller and smaller to his little cut, and then that anger build up, and then they're just so good with the pacing and the emotion. Like they always build emotion.
His acting is so just solid. Like
it's a rubber mistake, but I think it's a cool effect. Like if you're like saying like the crystal is just so overpowered that it's coming off of the glow. Like I think actually it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I really like how your Saber's colors and the glow match the footage. Like I feel like if there was a light in the scene, that's what the Saber, like that's what they would look like. So really good job with that.
This is just some effective shaky cam. Like it's keeping all the right things in frame when they're going here.
For visual effects, to clarify what Max is saying there is that yes, so it's easy to kind of do the rotoscoping and stuff like that, but there is a next level to it that I think some people kind of forget, and they're like, "Oh, I'm done. I already did the rotoscoping." You do want to make sure that your glow matches, glows that are in your scene. You also want to make sure that the color palette is also similar. Sometimes you'll have like very saturated lightsabers in the scene when they should be a little bit more desaturated based on footage.
Love the rain.
Was this rain? Did you guys do this on set, or did it happen to rain?
No, they said they in the comments they said they had a machine for it.
Yeah, they have to do that. You have to.
I'm like, there's no way that it started raining on cue.
No.
The production on it's. I feel like it's indistinguishable from a legit scene.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah.
I would say lighting and like rain wise, the costumes to me are like. I'm a stickler for costumes, and like they do a good enough job in this scene, but the fact that there's like buttons like on their sleeves and all down their front speaks a little too much of the real world to me.
Oh, I was like, wait, buttons?
Yeah, they both of them, and like this guy, he's got like a chest pocket on his shirt, so it's a little. There's little hints to the real world in these costumes.
You know what? It doesn't feel like a Star Wars entry for me. It kind of feels like they're in colonial times.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, it feels like a Sleepy Hollow horror movie to me, and that's what I like about it.
Which, I mean, is cool.
Yeah, I would agree about the costumes. For me, one of the slightly weaker parts of the entry, just because it's also just coming off of your entry last year, which like everything worked together.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but can we talk about that kill move right there?
Yeah.
I love that it was like a pause, and then it was just over so fast.
Yeah.
I love that. That was amazing.
Very samurai.
For me, almost everything is like hitting right on beat. The only thing that that I wanted him to be affected by that wound that he gets at the very beginning, because they seem evenly well, I mean, he does, but it doesn't wildly affect the fight,
Right.
Especially until like halfway through when the rain starts and he's like going like that. Because they seem evenly matched with him wounded. So what was he like before? Like I want to see that a little bit more, or I would wanted to see that a little bit more, like how much that affects him or puts him at a disadvantage, or are they actually on the same level? Something like that. But
now,
yeah, that's just a nitpick in a really cool entry.
Yeah, no, the fabulous entry. There was a moment when talking about inserts. There was a particular shot. I forget what happened when they cut across screen, like the fighters cut across screen, and then they push in into the holocron in the middle, the thing that they're fighting over, kind of a thing. And I thought that the visual language there was just. I wish I could show you guys the time code for that. Maybe I will after in the Discord. But there's a specific
well,
moment.
it actually wasn't a cut.
It wasn't. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't an insert.
Yeah.
It was another way of doing an insert where you have your actors, and that's a little bit that gets into more complex filmmaking. I think when you start staging that sort of a thing where you have actors going past and then you have a camera move going in. But it's really effective because it integrates the fight. There doesn't feel like the traction of an insert is that you kind of have to pull away from the action, and they maintain that by having the fight and then pushing it. It was a really effective shot to me, and I just forgot to point that out as it went by. I really like that about the tree.
Something that would have helped with the wound, like if he is healing himself, that he manages to get close enough to the holocron, they transfer something from that, and then is able to heal himself, or just small little things like that.
Yeah, because I got from the cutaway that the holocron was affecting the fight somehow, but it wasn't really conveyed how. And then at the end, he just sort of walks away from it. I was like, I don't know what he's trying to say there, he's leaving it behind, or is it not important to him? I didn't really, the language wasn't fully developed on what the plot device was for. Yeah. But it could have answered all these questions right there just with a little more something put into it.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing the finish. I really hope you guys finish it.
I think they said it's supposed to come out today, if I'm not mistaken. So probably after this stream, I think they're probably going to make it live. So they said December 5th, they're going to make it live. So
I know we're doing after.
We're doing after
party.
Yes.
After party on Yachty's channel.
Did you have any more, Lizzie, on that one?
No, I was just gonna say that performance as always was just stellar.
Yeah.
Oh, the Black Ranger looking guy. I feel like that cross hat she had and the thing in the middle felt very seriously, right? Did you get Power Rangers Mighty Morphins from this?
I always get Power Rangers vibes, but
no matter what.
That's a separate thing.
Yeah. So this one is doing a lot with a very simple location. I don't know if they put those lights there or if those were already there, but it's really super effective at setting up kind of this little, I don't know if it's supposed to be a temple or a shrine or just a thing, but I really liked it. And it's
an antenna to transmit the power of the holocron.
Yeah.
And I see what they're trying to do with their camera work. I do think they can clean up just a little bit, but I see them really trying to get their camera involved with the choreography.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but for me, his entrance especially, the way his hair is and the music felt Killmongerish to me, because they had
a little bit.
Okay.
808 down.
I don't know if these guys are in the chat, but I have to know: is your outfit Lord Draken inspired? Yes or no?
Lord Draken.
Lord, he's a new Power Ranger thing. Let's move on.
Oh, okay. Power Ranger on the brain all the time for sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate this fight.
Man, good flip.
Yeah.
Sorry. Continue.
I was just gonna say, one thing that I noticed about this was that, yes, they move their feet, but for the most part, they generally stay in the same spot. They circle each other, but they don't move.
But the camera keeps moving, which I really appreciate.
That was a good kill, though.
That was a good kill. You don't see a lot of that.
I haven't seen that since what was the one? Ferocity with Eric Whiteley and his crew.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And so for me, this part coming up where they're green Saber versus blue Saber, the blue Saber is coming to the block before, or the green Saber is coming to the block before blue Saber gets there on the attack quite a bit.
I like that push though. That push, that check was cool. That check was cool.
But it's made better by the camera work, which you're moving around and it's adding to the chaotic look. So it sells a little bit better than it would, but I would just another few passes at some practice or a few more takes at just making sure you're not coming to the block before he gets there with the attack.
Sure. And the idea behind that, I know the reason for that is because people are trying to be safe, but the idea with that is that in your choreography itself, make your swing look like you're about to hit the person, so that if they miss the block, you're still coming back on where that point should be, so that you still be very similar to, I think, the team that does as well as that Saber fighting team, the ones who did the Anakin Obi-Wan stuff. They do a very good job of doing tap 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 kind of a thing, and that if they were to miss, it wouldn't be a huge impact, but still enough that you can feel like there's a fight going on.
Yeah. But these do feel like very strong arm moves, though. Like they're really putting a lot of effort as he switches to one hand, but they were. Just feel like he's a big guy and he's putting his weight into it, and that really.
Right.
By the way,
this dude's
cool.
anime.
I really love. Oh,
I'm glad you went for this, like the playing with a defective saber. Like I've always wanted to do that, but
me too.
Kind of freaking out.
Yeah, I had an idea like years ago for Saber that's on like a rapid repeater button.
Oh, he missed the I didn't miss that move. He missed the first.
Yeah,
I love that. Short. He tries to stab him, but it goes shorter, and he's like,
creative, man. Good choreography.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like he does two of them where a character falls and the camera kind of rotates over with him. That
very
really cool.
You know that was a movie last year, the one with the guy who had the robot thing in his mind. I forgot the name of that movie. But they had very similar camera moves like that, which I think was really, really dope.
You know, I gotta wonder, like we put the requirement that people have like a holocron as one of the options this year, and I gotta, where are you guys getting these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's really cool.
I was so concerned like no one would be able to do it because I have no idea where, like I don't know where to buy a holocron or build one. Like but they all look so good too.
Yeah, but this shot right there.
So good.
Smooth.
Get the camera involved with the entry. That's baller. That's the baller.
Yeah. So I felt like the concept for that one was really solid. Like you set up what they're fighting over, you set up there's the Guardian, and it's just like for me that one was really selling on the theme. Like I know we're not really judging on theme this year, but that one was really working really well for me theme wise, and just setting up your story and doing the story.
Well, these guys are all saying they built their own holocrons. Well done on you.
Yeah.
My goodness, you guys, you craftsmen.
Yeah.
Tradesmen. They all have more free time than I do.
Yeah. Overall, I felt like that one was really, really solid. I felt like there was quite a bit of intrigue, or not intrigue, like the choreography itself was very interesting. Right. I just would have appreciated a little more like footwork. And then that would have bumped it.
Yeah, in like the distancing, because sometimes they would kind of like lock up in place and just like be standing and doing it when they should have been more of like a forward move or like getting around cards, because it's not just about in fighting just being on one line like fencing. Like fencing is a very specific kind of sword fighting. But you can try and flank around your opponent. Like there's different angles that you can get at people versus just the straight line, which is kind of like the default that we kind of all go to. But yeah, totally.
Yeah. And especially in the broken saber sequence, they were pretty much just like standing where they were in the spot. They weren't really footwork wise; they were just kind of staying where they were. So I would have liked a little more movement. Yeah,
I'd say like 95% of the time, like there's an aggressor and a defender. There's circumstances where you each can be holding your ground, but generally one's pushing the other.
Yeah, indeed. All right, cool. Let me go ahead.
And amazing stunts, by the way. They looked painful.
Yeah.
So props to you.
Very great job on that. Very fun.
We have holocron.
And then we have
man, that is a good Sith Lord.
Here's holocron.
This is like armor I dream of.
That wins all the holocrons.
Yeah.
Like if there's a holocron contest, that one.
I am wondering where it is because he puts it on his back and then he falls.
It's in his inventory.
Inventory.
It's very much an ape on the Old Republic itself, because this is Vinzalo.
Yeah. This I feel like they pulled these dudes from that cinematic. Like
that's Vinzalo from. He's the one who got killed by Malgus in that first trailer. That we
so he's playing a specific character here. Okay.
Well, I don't know if he has the costume of Vinzalo. I don't know if he's playing Vinzalo. He looks like Vinzalo, so I think he's Vinzalo. I don't know who this character is. I know this guy's a slightly newer one. I haven't.
There's several of those, like they're like secondary Sith Knights or something.
I don't know my Old Republic characters, unfortunately. So
I haven't really played it, but I've watched those game trailers so many times.
Media period.
If the game played like that, I'd play it more.
I know.
Right? And talking about styles, he actually does have the Vinzalo style, like a very open.
Yeah, he was very like one-armed, muscly guy. Yeah.
I will say that like I felt like this choreography is kind of right out of the game or out of the game trailers,
Right.
and I kind of have the same problem with them. There really isn't any character in this choreography here.
Mhm.
Because we don't know what the story is, so like all we have to go on is the choreography.
Yeah.
And I would have liked a little bit more character moments built into it because they kind of fight the same.
That is
There's
one
like-
of the difficulties of having a masked character is it's
Yeah.
much harder to convey intention.
Right.
And also with the thing about adding character, it's not always just dialogue. I think sometimes people will always default to like, oh, let me just have dialogue. But no, you can have an entire fight scene and understand what those two players are doing just based on their movement. Like if you just look at Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting, no context or whatever, you can see the different styles and like what they're trying to achieve in the fight.
Yeah. Like this sequence here, you can see the Sith's a little grumpy, got his saber chopped in half. He is being much more aggressive than he had been.
I love that stance. Oh, such a good, just kid those stances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh no, never mind.
Okay.
I really like the location as well.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah. If we're gonna talk about like production design a little bit, the Jedi's armor is very, very good looking. I liked his armor a lot. I would something that I thought was interesting is like, yes, I get that you're trying to replicate a certain costume for the Sith, but I felt like his fighting style was way more athletic, and like, see, he's going way for more kicks and all the flips, and so him actually being in full armor seems a little opposite to his costume design.
That's actually how they were in the trailers, though, Lizzie. Like that's kind of how the Old Republic Sith fought. Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, it's a little weird, but it's like, well, if you can do it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can do it, props to you.
I was like, well, actually, because I know what people are trying for. Because when they're doing some of these character-based fights, they're
like I gotta say, like I didn't realize it till now, but we have a lot of like established character fights, and they're all doing the style really well.
Yeah.
Like, so props on you all for doing your homework.
And this that shot that we were talking over it, but where he force lists him off the ground to standing up, it was really solid. It looked really good.
See, pulled it out of inventory,
and
with no idea where it was the whole time.
The Ryan cleanse.
Something else that would have helped with the character a little bit for me is having a little bit more vocal foley for both characters, because they hardly said anything, or like you didn't hear them at all. And so like little grunts and like reactions or attack, yells or little things like that. Even for the Sith character, I would have liked a little bit more of that. That would have helped add character. It's a very subtle thing that you don't always think about how much it adds to a fight, but it's very effective at rooting it in. This is what these people are actually doing, and they're not just dancing.
But it was solid though. Like it was solid. It was just like about tuning up really more about that one.
Yeah, like there were moments where there was a little more character behind it. Like especially like I was saying, after the saber's chopped in half, you can tell he gets pissed. But like more of that throughout the fight is what you want.
Yeah.
Like because I mean they're fighting, but the tension is already high, so you have to put that high tension in the entire fight because these people are trying to kill each other, and that's no small matter.
I start to be get this over here. All right, I think we have two more, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
I lost count.
I lost count too, even though I have it here and I can see it. Okay, wait, is this the same people or this is a different Saber?
I think it's
different.
Remain?
Yeah, this is Russian Jedi on the forums.
Okay.
He was involved in this one.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember this one.
Yeah.
I remember their faces being very samey. Like that would be my critique of.
Yeah, they look like they might be feuding sisters.
They're very stoic, which I think is okay if one of the characters is stoic, but I don't think it works if both characters are stoic.
That was my main note about this one is almost everything is working together. It's just and even their fighting performance, like their physicality is good. It's just their faces are very neutral for almost the whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, if I understand the story right, they're both like the other one. It was bitten by a zombie, and so she's cauterizing the wound. I thought that the girl that walks in here the way her makeup was done, she looked slightly more zombie-ish or like
Yeah.
worn out than the other one did, even though
and
that
like
she's supposed to be.
she's like got a bandage on her arm and on her leg as well. So it's like, which
And I think all of that would have been fine with a little bit more, acting
very good shots.
character
Good
going on.
Maybe it's not like 28 days later and it actually takes a while to turn.
that's true.
Yeah, but I love the idea of the cauterizing with the lightsaber.
Yes.
You know how much that would hurt? Like your skin is melting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh, you can smell it for.
Even like right now, I don't think we actually do. We ever see her actually like crying out ever?
I had a little bit, but yeah,
of
and we're saying this because so many other parts of the film are working really well. It's just this one last little part that it gets highlighted a little bit because of that. But I really like your cinematography, and the direction and the lighting was really nice, and it's an awesome location too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and that shot, that's a very like Korean film, like just the framing of the mouth kind of
Yeah, this like I don't know if it reminds me of like Old Boy or what, but just like the stare down here of like realizing they're gonna fight. Like neither of them wants to fight, but it just intensifies until they realize it's inevitable and they have to. Like
right.
Yeah.
It's a really well done moment here.
And so I wanted to see just a little bit more from the performances.
Yeah. Like this girl, I don't know what she's expressing right there.
She looks more like she's just like trying to assess the situation.
Yeah.
Unless it's a thing where she thinks, oh, she's already turned, like she's gotten bitten, so like it's an unemotional thing.
Yeah.
For her, like the killing is unemotional. Like I want
one of your characters can't be stoic. I think that's completely fine. It's just that like you got to have contrast between the two.
I mean, the girl that got bitten, at least. I mean, she's doing a better job of looking really like defensive, really afraid.
And I like that she like snuck her lightsaber, like, oh, I'm defenseless. Oh no, I'm not.
That was a very good start to the fight. Good build up.
And oh man, yeah.
And then they can fight.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. And the fighting looks really good too. And the actual props you have.
Everybody from like these saber fighting like groups, like their performances. I think if these fighting saber groups get these performance matched up with not just the performance of the movement of the fight, but like getting that into the acting portion of it too. Really, really great. Although I do have one critique. I feel like there was some in these blockings. She's anticipating the block versus it being, because with the block it's supposed to be more of like oh, get away from me, like let me like very quickly get away, but it's more like oh it's coming for me, like let me like high five you like in the middle. So don't anticipate those sorts of things. Like any block should be like kind of last minute and kind of like kind of a thing.
I know it's kind of a limited stun, but when she does the wall run there, like I was a little disappointed how little air she got from
and
a little bit.
Getting your camera in a different angle because it didn't sell it really well because of how they set up that shot.
You probably wanted to get closer and point at a more extreme angle.
Right.
Well, what I thought was interesting is like her acting didn't seem that great, but then this shot right there where you're like, she obviously doesn't want to do it. That was great.
Yeah, that was good. Well, if we get more of that, then we're really in that scene.
You kind of want to lead with that emotion so you know that the whole fight.
Right.
Like I don't want to kill you, but I gotta because you're gonna kill me.
The kill move was nice, but without like a little bit of VFX or a little bit of sparks, it was hard to tell which one of them died until the next shot. Which may have been the point behind it. Yeah. But I wanted it felt like without VFX, the sound effect was at the wrong time for who it was supposed to be killing. Like there was just like a 2 frames off from where I would have put the sound effect. It's a very subtle thing. But yeah, that was the only thing about that kill move, but I really liked it.
Yeah, but in film it matters. Like those little things matter because you're conveying reality, and reality the sound wouldn't be off. You'd hear it right when it happens. So those are those tiny little details add up.
Yeah,
but overall, I really like that entry.
Yeah,
I thought it looked really nice.
Something I feel like you haven't really seen before, just like the whole zombie.
That might be a first. I don't believe I've seen a zombie Jedi fight.
We had a fight a couple years ago that had zombies. Zombies fighting with lightsabers.
You know what? You're right. The kids on the rock side. Yeah.
hmm
Those
But-
zombies, if I recall,
I'm-
those zombies were mostly just cannon fodder, though, amidst the actual fight.
No,
All
there
right,
was
so-
another one with like actual zombies fighting.
So I do actually
The
know
farmhouse.
what
Okay,
the,
yep,
we
I
are
remember.
on the
Yep.
last one here, guys. I am sorry.
I don't want it to be over.
So this is entry number 10. This is I forget which one this one is.
Nice
This is
logo,
the
man.
Foresight. So these are the guys that did perpetual motion last year.
Yeah.
And
Oh, Foresight. This is Foresight, right?
Yeah,
Foresight, not
these
Foresight.
logos are amazing.
Yeah, these are
very
cool.
Another one small note about Remains. I thought for the main fight, the music was overdoing it a little bit. Like it had this really loud, kind of slightly bombastic score that I wanted to.
Sorry for that siren, guys.
But these guys have always been solid on their choreography. Like just looking at their YouTube channel is just like.
Yeah, and if you're looking to get into saber fighting, like follow their Instagram. These guys are
Or
just
I'm
posting
sure
all
are these
sorts of cool
groups
stuff
like
constantly.
nationwide. Do they have like pockets like everywhere?
I'm not really
Well,
sure how the organization works. It seems like they're like stunt fighters and they're just always doing entries like this just for kicks.
I know the group that did Remains. I think are they Russian based? Maybe.
Oh yeah, you said the Russian Jedi did that one. Yeah, so yeah.
I mean,
That
that's
role.
the username, I don't know. Yeah. So this
Hey, I
guy.
love you, man. I'll take that cheese. Oh, also another Kyle Katarn that he is dressed right.
Oh, really?
He's dressed as Kyle Katarn, if I'm not mistaken, because that shoulder pad and the brown.
It's similar. I wouldn't say he's
Not
trying to be
exactly.
Kyle Katarn, but yeah, it's this influence style.
I didn't love it's almost working until there's certain shots where his clothes, which have the armor printed on, just don't quite work for me.
But, you know, if that's what you have access to, good on you for
Then
using
yeah,
it.
then
So,
you got it.
yeah.
But
It's
I
actually
really
better
like
than not doing anything at all.
the cloak is really nice though, and I like that he
Yeah.
has the gauntlets. That really helps it work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
I love the incorporation of the hand-to-hand so
Mhm.
far.
Between the fighting, right? Because sometimes people like separate the two.
Yeah, these are some,
Yeah.
some solid kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this three-way is oh my
Yes.
god.
Yes, and look at they're trying to get around him, like they're
Yep.
staying active. Like it's that this is how you do it right here.
mhm.
Yeah, so good, so good.
Yeah. I swear this is like their specialty because this is what I've seen these guys do a lot. Is just like 2v1s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is just super solid fighting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was basically the move from the Old Republic. That was the fight between Malgus and oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah.
I forgot her name, the lady. That was like the same thing. That 2v2 fight.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if you guys are in the chat, does this one take place before or after Perpetual Motion? Because I know that the same guy shows up at the end.
I love that little slide and duck.
This
thing that happens
sequence I
so-
love.
That's cool.
Like they are fighting so close right there.
Like that one feels like, yo, if you miss, you're dead.
Toast. Ooh.
Oh, and stop me with the fork. That yeah.
Get over here.
Kylo freeze.
Mhm.
Now,
Okay, this takes place after.
because there is cinematography
They are
going on.
Man. Did we see that with the three near misses in a row? Like
Yes.
Yep. And that was the good version of the Obi-Wan and Anakin like just flailing sabers and not actually hitting. Like that one worked for me.
They're stationary in the Obi-Wan Anakin fight. They're just in one spot and they do it for too long. I think that's the thing too. They do it for too long.
Mhm.
Force repulse. Man. That is a rarely seen effect.
Yeah, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so am I to think that the Force repulse he did shook the entire world?
I believe so.
I
Now that
didn't
they're
love
flying-
I didn't love the cutting out to the planet at the beginning and end. It didn't for me. It wasn't super cohesive with the rest of the film.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the story's supposed to be like he just broke the planet.
And this went on for a little while too. I feel like it was like awkwardly too long. The shaking and then going back, like that shot held for like way too long. I feel like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the like we said this last year about these guys. It's just the speed and the choreo are just
Mhm.
so solid.
Mhm.
Antoine, are you frozen?
Oh, I might be. Oh, can you hear me though?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay, I can like deactivate my camera and reactivate it. But thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah. I will say though that the music for that one was very minimal, and I wanted it to be a little bit more atmospheric. Like I felt like there was, it felt. It's more of a mixing thing where it felt like the instruments were really close to the mic. I'm not a sound person, so like I'm probably using all these wrong terms, but it's like I wanted a little more reverb or a little bit more atmospheric sound on the music with it being so minimal. But that's just a small
Now, what
thing.
would you say? Because I look at their entry and they're doing all the fundamental things correctly with the editing and the cinematography, but for some reason, just my mind knows it's not exactly polished, and I don't know like how to put my finger on it.
Honestly, I think it's the camera they're using because it looks like video to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're shooting like 30 FPS, but it feels like, you know, kind of like point and shoot video for a really high level production. And I'd like to see something a little more cinematic from them.
And I will say that this one was more like we talked about that your entry last year on Perpetual Motion, that the cinematography wasn't quite there, like technically quite there, and this one was better, but still like a little bit better camera quality, or a location that has a little more light. Like I know you want to show off the lightsaber props, which are really solid. I know you guys use these. Do you guys make your own or something that are like super bright?
I think so.
I think you did, but being able to see the phases a little bit more, and also allowing some moments to breathe just a bit, like getting into it. So it depends on the story, obviously, but just knowing. Sorry if my brain just stopped on that.
Oh yeah. So Mike says in the chat here he's looking for a better camera. Can't afford one just yet. We all been there, buddy. Like,
oh yeah,
just keep saving.
Oh, yeah.
And part of that is how dark it is pushing, like it's a contrast level. It's not just dark because you have like really bright points of light, but everything other than those points of light are very dark. And so having a place that's either daytime or has just more ambient light would really help.
Yeah. And like he's saying, if he's saying it's, you know, it's not his ideal camera, he's probably not able to get that range out of it yet. So you know, focus on your gear, and we'd like to see, you know, how you make it look next time.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So now we all are going to deliberate, and the three judges will come back with their winners. So stick around. What we're going to do as our intermission is we have a little compilation for all of our runner-ups, which I think I can throw on the frame right now. Yes, I can. So we're all going to mute. You guys are all going to be able to see us. You're going to be like, what are they saying? Read their lips. Who's winning? Who's winning? Go ahead. Try and speculate. It's all good.
I can't believe he's making us choose.
But right now, we are all going to mute our mics right now. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
Problem, I can't actually hear you.
Hello, everyone. We are
Oh.
back. We are back. Oh wait, except for.
There we go.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
We got it.
We are back. Oh, which by the way, totally professional. So we are about to announce the categories. Just to remind you guys, we are going to do this via choreography first, production design, cinematography, editing, and then visual effects.
Do we want to wait a sec for everyone?
Yeah,
to
we're
get
gonna
back?
wait a little while just for people to get back. But let's talk about at this point, we would like to take this time to talk about some of the entries that didn't make it to the top 10, but that we wanted to give some highlights to. Anyone want to start with that one? Any entries that couldn't quite make it, but you're really into?
Ooh, yes.
Well, we're a big fan of Xander Brow for his presence in the Discord and just as a Saber teammate in general. Like we all said, he was that close. Like his entry was, had a lot of good choreography, had camera work's getting better, but he's just not quite hitting the quality level we want to see. So we want to see him keep putting that passion into it. Maybe we'll see him again next year with something even better.
Yeah, you were definitely like it was you were almost there. You were number 11 for me there, and I really appreciate that you're like really active on the Discord.
And really trying to improve. Like I see him really trying to apply the notes that we do provide to him.
Another one I wanted to do was mention was Vengeance.
I did too.
Yeah, that one was another entry that was really close for me. It was just really fun, and you had really great tumbles and falls, and there were a few just like cool villain moments in there that it was really cool. Like good job on that one.
And from a production design standpoint, the bad guy's tattoo is pretty awesome.
And the Sand Will Remember You looked
beautiful. They're saying we got a delay. So what we'll do really quickly, guys, everybody just deactivate your camera and then reactivate it because that should help out the situation.
Okay.
Better?
We're gonna find out in probably another 30 seconds.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, we are talking. This is how my mouth is moving.
Is it in sync? If not, then we're just gonna have to roll with it. Do we sound like a dubbed movie right now?
Oh, that would be terrible.
Just
everybody's like, guys, sound alike, guys.
They need A in their AV. Doesn't look better. We might just be in trouble here.
Let's see.
Yeah. Wait, did someone say that
saying
after we
still
did
not
switch,
working.
still is not working? Then we got
Sorry, guys.
Move on. It's all good. It's all right. 2020, man.
We'll sync it in post. Here's a.
We'll sync it in post.
All right.
No.
All right. So yeah, we can continue. What you were talking about, Vengeance, I believe, at that time.
Yep, Vengeance. Oh no, we were talking about The Sand Will Remember You. It was a really beautiful entry. There are other parts of it that didn't work or that weren't working for me quite as well, but
I was getting like French New Wave vibes from that movie. I was so it pained me that it wasn't like the choreography wasn't quite there because I was like I wanted this entry to be like stellar.
I want to go on a vacation wherever you filmed it.
It was Lizzie. It was Oregon beaches.
Really?
Obviously.
Wow.
Oh, well, I need to go on one.
Oh, Chris, you're the only one who they say that your audio is actually in sync for some reason.
And I was going to replace that webcam too. That's funny.
Let me try something.
Not anymore. Logitech.
I think everybody might be back now, unless we have any more noteworthies that we wanted to be like, hey guys, we love this.
I mean, I love them all. Like all of you who entered, like just remember, like of you 30 entries, there are a bunch of people who threw in the towel said, sorry, I can't submit this year. Like you 30 are all A grade in my book. Well done. We understand it takes a lot of work, even just coordinating, let alone making the thing. Like applause to you all.
Indeed.
Oh, we're all catching up now. Apparently I'm good now and Lizzie's good. All right, cool. Sweet. Who knows?
We'll see if I'm on. I just redid my camera, so
cool.
Maybe my camera is
Were there
good.
any other, Max, was there any others you wanted to highlight that didn't make it?
I'm just looking at the list real quick here.
I just wanted to shout out to Die, and DYI that I was so entertained watching it. It was very fun.
I don't know why there was a sign gimmick, but they went with it, and I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, Rebel had really great
yes.
production design, and like it was another in the dunes. But that one was also like almost there on my list.
Yeah, they jumped out at me because they had a really good like Instagram campaign. Like I found them through the hashtag, so I'd been following their production, and it was the same thing where it's like I wanted this to be one I voted for, but it just wasn't there. Like
yeah.
And what I remember for that one in particular is because like the sand issue, right, that we were talking about, how I was saying execution, the way they kind of alleviated that by was punching in, but they had really wide shots, so you could really see them trying to like get through that sand. That was really tough. Also, I feel like their elbows are very locked. I remember in their choreography, there was a lot of like this. You kind of want to like loosen up a little bit and you know do a little bit more of a flow work. The lockup is kind of cool for moments. Like for instance, if you're like being faced by like a Darth Vader, and you want to be like, oh my god. But to have it like throughout, it feels a little bit stilted. So just work on the choreography a little bit. I think the cinematography was actually pretty good. Like I think it's very solid in that.
It was for me. It was a few like the performance of the choreography, like the physicality felt just like tight and in like this a little bit. And there was a few story things that I wasn't quite sure about. But
I appreciate that you went for story.
Yes.
All right, before we move in, I want to actually highlight this before we move into the winners. As Jedi Pastor is saying to us here in the chat, and it's very, very valid. Just submitting an entry is a win. Great job. And that is very true because so many creators always say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It really does take just actively going out and do it. That's when you actively get better. That's when you grow. So again, like anyone who entered and has been entering over the several years, keep it up. We've been seeing steady improvement from a lot. We were talking about during the judging how we're saying like there's a steady improvement that's happening with some of our newer members who are in the contest, and how that moves on to the future. Like Max, like we always talk about you all the time, how when you first started, you were very similar to some of these other entries, and then you took that feedback to heart, and you went on to like win 2 in a row, or was it 2 in a row, or was it 2 in consecutive?
What was that? Sorry.
Was Recollection and Loyalty back to back, or was separation between?
No, there was a couple of years, but there was also another entry, and I worked on other people's entries. But I will say that LCC at the time, Saber Comp now, but that was probably my biggest influence in filmmaking going up, because I got, for the most part, industry professionals to critique my work from the beginning, and that was a huge help.
You just don't find that elsewhere. Like I was, a member on the Force.net while I was starting film school through Western Michigan, and like there were things I knew better than my professors because of some of these guys that were giving me information. Like I was teaching my advanced video professor how to use After Effects. Like, so it's just a fantastic community, and I'm glad that we've been able to kind of keep it going despite the channel changing.
And I know we've shouted him a few times, but I want to do it again because it's really important that he does this. But Ryan Weber is very, very awesome at giving back to this community. Like he doesn't forget about us. Like sometimes when I message him, I'm like, I still get kind of like the giddiness of like, I don't know if Ryan's going to reply.
Let me clarify. Emmy Award winning Ryan Weber.
Emmy Award winning, correct, for visual effects. And as he said in his own video, if you guys want to watch the standalone, which is on this channel, this got him, lightsabers got him into visual effects and eventually got him that Emmy win.
I still believe like the basic lightsaber effect is like, I don't know what people are using now, but After Effects, a 101. Like you have to learn all the basic tools of entry just to make this little stick glow. And I really think like if you're trying to get into it, this is a great place to start.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed. So yes, all right. So let's go ahead and get into our categories. First up, we have choreography. I believe we have Chris. We have you posting that one, right?
Yeah, let's take the non-winner and give him choreography. That works. So I have studied a lot. Choreography is really like, it's a fluid thing. It's a character of its own. It's really about like the story you're trying to tell visually. And I think we have the top 10 this year have all done a great job in their own way. We talked about how some of them were emulating existing characters and they managed to bring that character style into their fight, which is difficult. So just the main things we focus on choreography, like you want to talk about like technical form. Does it look like, a proper move, proper skill set? You want to talk about fluidity. Does it look like the motion is being sold? Is the motion an accurate way? Like a human would swing a sword. And I had a third one. I lost it. I was on a roll. But no, just basically the moves of the fight. It's the strict, like it's not even about selling it. It's just about like on the technical level, do these moves make sense? And that's how we judge choreography.
Mhm.
Okay,
Cool.
so
Who was our third?
okay, so third place for choreography we're gonna go with Anakin and Obi-Wan, who again they took two established characters, studied their skill set, and just made it their own. Like they did new choreography in an existing sound. That was just a sight to see.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I like in particular because of the styles there. Like you
Mhm.
really did have like the distinction, and then them iterating on that. Because I think that's something I often advise people to do. Just literally still choreography, because it's not going to look the same. It'll be your own. It's always going to be your own.
No, it's like that famous quote, like good writers borrow from other writers, great writers steal from them outright.
Yeah.
If we went back through a lot of my entries, I'd be able to show you the specific like moves and moments that I stole from other films or pieces of choreography.
In particular, for those people who are very that up, down, left, right kind of getting stuck in that very rudimentary kind of choreography, literally just rip off. Like honestly, like just do it.
Just build from there. It's like the first sentence of your paragraph. You steal that line, and then that'll get you going. You'll kind of start understanding what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the second place for choreography. We went with Apex. Which we've seen these guys before. They have a very like raw intensity. Like every time I see them guys, it's like, you don't want to kill each other in real life, do you? Because you look like you do.
Honestly.
Yeah. So and we applaud them this year for switching roles. Usually like one plays the hero, one plays the villain, but they swapped it this year. And I believe the styles changed with them. So we had the dark red, horrific bad guy just trying to murder this poor little farm keep out in the forest. I really enjoyed it. A lot of great intensity, a lot of great moves, a lot of originality. Yes, they definitely earned their spot at number 2 this year.
Yeah, especially loved all the incorporation of. It seemed like a lot of hand-to-hand, like or not hand-to-hand. What would you call that? Like
just melee combat.
Melee combat. Because like it wasn't kicks and punches, but it was like several times they like swiped feet out from each other, and those were all very, very awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ready to move on to number 1 of choreography. Drum roll, please. We're going to go with Foresight from Mike Starwalker and co. So Foresight is contrasting from what we were saying about, say, Anakin and Obi-Wan. It was a very original style. We saw a lot of unique moves, a lot of variation in the styles of moves. Like we went from, saber length to up close and personal. And the intensity was there the entire fight. There was clear intent and lots of motion, lots of excitement, and unexpected surprises. So I just think overall choreography, hands down, goes to Foresight.
Yep. And yep.
I have nothing yet. That was great.
Yeah, excellent job from all the teams and the 7 that missed it and the other 20. Like everyone did a great job this year.
Awesome. So moving on, I believe it is production.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. Lizzie's going to take it away for us for production design.
Oh, okay. I have to talk now. Okay. Alrighty, production design. What we're really looking for is, did it add or take away from the fight? Because production design is all about what's in front of the camera and building a world. So this would be locations, costumes, set design, but y'all were out in sand dunes and forests. Not much set, but
brought rain in and stuff too.
Yeah. So third place for production design is Apex. I personally just loved how you took a forest and made it look spooky, like the rain and the fog, and just like even the little pile of rocks that the holocron was on just added to the environment and really set a tone for the whole entry.
Even like taking the hot car and dumping it in the river, I thought, and just seeing the glow as it went down the river, like that visually is in my mind. Like,
yeah, that like I like this one because it was sort of unique. It was I just have been calling it a straight up horror film. Like you don't see that a lot. Like even in episode 2, they're in complete pitch black and there's blue and red moving around. It's cool, but this was like I was scared of your bad guy. Like he terrified me, and it's because the set design really helped sell like the expressions he was conveying. So.
Oh, and to ape off of you about the fog, the reason the fog is so effective, and it's something that Max you were talking about with the execution film, is that sometimes it can be a very flat background. What that fog helps you do is kind of understand the space and give you more visual interest.
Depth.
Yeah, in depth. That's the word I was looking for. So that's the reason if anyone like in the future wants to try out fog machines, something that's very good, especially for these night shoots, because then you can easily separate all of that.
They're a butt to deal with, like
They
on
are,
set, like actually shooting something with that, and rain as well. But it looks so good.
Alrighty, moving on to second place for production design is For the One. I personally really like this one because they didn't go for anything too fancy, and they didn't try to make a real world look like a Star Wars world. Like they kept everything consistent. They were wearing button-ups, but they were also in a modern day building. And they went for a very simple design. They went for white and black, and they clearly told the story of the characters through the production design. That the girl was wearing white, the main guy was wearing white, everybody else was wearing black. We immediately knew who the bad guys were and who the good guy was and why he was there.
Language. Something that I think it seems so simple, but it does go a long way of just immediately, recognizing something.
Yeah, I'm always been a fan of like elegance and simplicity, and I saw a lot of that here. It's very like, it looks like these guys were fighting after getting out of church, but it was, like it was very clear direction of what they wanted it to look like.
And alrighty, the winner of production design is Remains. This one did an amazing job of just creating an entire world. They created a setting and just the whole grunge of their location and the costumes was just created a whole world. And that's what production design is. It's creating fictional worlds and making it seem real. And
the characters felt like they lived in that world as well.
Yeah, I was getting very like 28 Days Later vibes. Like I knew like I was watching like a zombie horror flick, and that it was going to be kind of raw, just from looking at how dirty and disgusting it was. Like I do kind of wonder if they just found this building or if they went for it and they dirtied the place up. Like, but it looked great.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of dirt though next time.
All around.
More dirt.
All right, so moving on to cinematography. Max, take us away.
Okay. What I look for in cinematography, one, does it look pretty? Two, especially in the choreography, is the camera a part of that choreography? Even if the camera's 100 500 feet away on a zoom lens, like it's still part of the choreography, and it's like what you're showing is okay. My brain just stopped.
It's like the Anakin Obi-Wan, right? Like you do that big pull back and you see like
you pulled back, you saw it,
see that epicness of the fight, and then when do you choose to cut in? When do you choose to make those inserts? Like that's all the choices you're trying to make for it.
So third place for cinematography here, we have Foresight. You guys did a great job of bringing the camera in, but also showing us what the choreography was and allowing us to see how much skill you guys have. And it just wasn't all just a blur. And it just, it really highlighted how solid your choreography and execution was. So yeah, third place. For second place for cinematography, we have execution, which this is the flip side of what I just said for Foresight, you did a great job of bringing us into the main character's struggle to get out from, what was it, I think 5 people, and his, intensity of like every move had to be right or else he was dead or lost an arm or something.
You know what it's kind of like? It kind of translates to even like prose fiction. It's like the difference between first person point of view and like third person point of view.
Yeah.
So we have one representation with Foresight, which is kind of like that third person, you're kind of like, oh man, I'm an observer here. But in execution, you're that character. You're like, oh my God, I gotta like get away from that, get like that. Like it's a very effective way, and it's a choice. It's a choice that a filmmaker has to actively make.
Yeah, and we had said it was also a good way of like kind of hiding the problems with shooting on sand. Like, a lot of people, it hinders your movement. Like and then cutting, like whether or not this was part of the reason they cut in close, and that really just focuses on like, the active part of the body that knows what it's doing, not the one that's like struggling with its surface. So that was a good choice on that.
Yeah.
And also you made bright, broad daylight look epic.
That's actually great. I didn't think about how bright that is, and
it's tricky.
You're right. You're true.
Yeah.
Okay, and so for cinematography, the winner is Apex. This one just looked beautiful, and it was really amazing, and it really sold like the thriller / horror aspect of it really well, in like the little cutting close-ups to like the hand, force pulling him through the forest, or these little moments like he was talking about, the holocron in the water, and then just like the visuals of it floating away, and the contrasting light colors. It just really looked beautiful.
Yes.
While still also being a part of the choreography itself.
It was just terrifying. Like this is an entry that'll give me nightmares.
Yeah. You know what's funny? It's an entry that'll get you nightmares where the bearded guy wasn't the villain.
I know.
How incredible is that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another aspect of cinematography is the lighting, which it was kind of hard to separate from production design, but the lighting, especially for Apex, lighting a forest at night and making it look good is really hard, and you guys pulled it off.
They probably had a floodlight, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they probably had several floodlights.
They had lights, and they had like a water machine. Like they must have had some kind of generator running.
And then also fog really helps with that, with lighting up a forest as well.
Right.
So,
Going on all cylinders there. All right, moving on to editing. Chris, take it away.
All right, so you fellow editors may know it's considered the invisible art. So you're doing your job if no one recognizes it, right? That's why it's a very difficult category to judge.
Yeah.
So what we kind of have to go with is which editing enhanced the fight without drawing attention to itself, and that's just the best way to categorize it. So bearing that in mind, for the third place entry, we have Sith Die Repeat, which had a difficult task of maintaining a continuity in what I guess we would call multiple timelines. So we have something that's happening over and over to this character, but it's being conveyed, through a single angle, through, our point of view of witnessing it happen. And I think they just did a great job showcasing that setup. And then once they got into the fight, what I really was thinking about is like, all the camera angles they had to do, like not only were the fighters balancing on rocks, the cameraman had to be too, but the editing tied it all together to make it look like, this precarious thing was, happening. They did a great job with it.
I really felt like you knew, like with the slow-mo, you knew when to just like take a pause and slow down for a minute, show off how epic this moment is.
All right, so we'll move on to number 2 for editing, and we're going to go with execution. And this, again, same with their cinematography. It's they did everything like technically right. Like they had a lot of characters, they had a lot of moments, and a lot of variation in the camera angles, but it all tied together. I was never lost. So they did a great job of doing like the match on action and just following the fight from the best exciting perspective they could muster. So and then so we'll move on to the winner of editing. We ready? Okay.
Yes, let's go.
Go with Apex. Again, because of the horror movie vibes we're getting, and then again, the technical level they brought, we're not thinking about the cuts, not thinking about the camera. We were thinking about all of these scary things happening in front of us and all of the exciting action and just complete, like, I definitely was like, I was in the screen for this one. I was leaning forward. It pulled me in. So I think editing excelled on every level for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have nothing to. It's that.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I'm the editor here. These guys, yeah. So I have the most to say on the subject. But yeah, I think everyone did a great job. Linear editing, well, non-linear editing of a linear narrative is a challenge for everyone. There's a lot of pieces to build that puzzle, and I think everyone did a great job putting it together this year.
Would you say sound design is a little bit part of editing as well? Because the sound design in Apex was very stellar.
The sound influences you from shot to shot.
Yeah, I didn't actually. Yeah, I was focused mostly on video, which is bad me. But like sound is half the movie, right? And it's one of those things I didn't have much to say on it because clearly you did it right? So it's just the sound was top notch for all of the entries we mentioned.
Cool. And now we're moving on to visual effects, going to our whoops. No one saw that. No one saw that. Oh, what? No, what? Anyway, Max, go ahead and talk about
it. VFX, it's simply does it tell the story? Something I personally look for is it feels rooted in reality and isn't, over the top Transformers, bunch of shiny things. And
so, to be fair, you can actually follow, like he does a really good job of letting you follow the action through visual effects.
That's why I said, for me personally, I am a bigger fan of like the visual effects that just like blend everything into the world and make it feel real. That's what I personally look for in a lot of my things, and it's what I like to do a lot.
Max isn't invited to my Michael Bay party.
Hey, I love Michael Bay's filmmaking.
That's actually very true. I can actually agree with that. I love his filmmaking, not his storytelling.
That's true.
Yeah, it's I don't love the over the top spectacle like the Marvel universe of, well, let's just throw all the visuals on the screen and instead of like just highlighting what's needed. But so third place for VFX was Intrusion. You guys had really solid VFX and good colors and then just a little bit to kill moves here and there that were really
capitations in there.
Yep. And then also the challenge of doing the short lightsaber as well is that's a tough thing because I don't know if you had like a short prop in there or you just were freehanding, but that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, even freehand like extending of a short prop is difficult because you never know where it's supposed to be. You have to measure every frame.
Yeah, so it's very good. And they kept it so that it looked like it was, a natural stick. You didn't think, oh man, that's kind of like lopsided. It was good.
Yep. And for second place, we have Apex, which it was, like most of your stuff, just subtle, but there is a lot going on there that was really interesting. And, your lightsabers look like they fit in the world. So
they probably get the award for best force push this year.
Yeah. Yes. And I don't know.
It
looked mostly practical, but I'm sure there was some removals going on of wires and stuff. So really good job there.
Like, did you drag him behind a truck? I need to know.
Yes. I'd love to know what was that.
Yeah.
And number one for VFX, we have drumroll. Execution.
No one saw it.
Execution. This is like your VFX looked like they fit in the world. The lightsabers looked really, really good, even in that really bright environment. And you were just doing a lot of like little things like the blasters and stuff, and it looked part of the world and didn't call attention to itself in the wrong way or anything like that.
Yeah, getting really lightsaber glows to show on a bright background, that's hard.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Very good challenge.
And
all right, cool.
Full black eye
in
the
chat, they said it was just two people pulling him.
Wow.
Two very strong, handsome men.
Two
they
very
said.
Wow.
fast people.
Wait, and they erased the guys out? Like, is that what?
No,
Oh,
I
it
mean
was
off
probably
screen.
long enough.
Probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
long
and then
rope.
they probably
Oh, like
sped
with
it
a
up a
rope.
bit, or you know, like
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, we need to see a BTS of their shit, man. I mean,
Oh,
Also,
I
I'm sorry, guys. I
ouch.
can't be clean here.
That poor
Yeah.
actor. Like
yeah.
he just got dragged through the woods.
Yeah, he'll take it though. He seems like the type that would be like, "I'll do it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
What do you mean? That
congrats
sounds
on
fun.
execution. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the popular vote again. Thank you to Feast Space for hosting the popular vote as they have done for the past forever. Like pretty much like that's the one thing that's been consistent all the way from like the boards was Feast Space,
Yeah.
like kind of doing the archives and
Sylvia White.
yeah, Sylvia White specifically because they are a duo. Her and her husband Steve, who
Steve,
did the Glove, which is like one of my favorite lightsaber choreography entries.
From whichever year that was now.
Oh, I want to say 11 or 9. No, it was
Yeah.
9.
Yeah,
9.
these are some of our original theforce.net sponsors. So yeah, they
I think
kinda
it was.
Oh, I
just-
want
I think
to
it was.
come back.
It was 11. I think.
It was
okay.
11. Yeah, it was either 9 or 11 because I remember it being either. It was around 10. Like I remember it
Yeah.
was around,
Yeah.
Right.
something like that.
Mm.
So for our popular vote at third place, we have Foresight. So Foresight, we talked about already. Like we said last year, we gave them notes about elevating their filmmaking because their performance was already there, and they did that. And we feel like the popular vote also shows that too. That it's just a very entertaining fight to watch. Anybody else have any more? Because now we kind of like talked up Foresight like this whole entire time.
Yeah. No.
Not
Cool.
really.
So in second place, we have Rebel, which is something that we talked about a little bit at the start of us coming back out of our intermission. But we're glad that a lot of you guys out there also wanted to give it some love as well. And that one in particular, like we were saying before, I think it's a very, very beautiful entry. The acting that was in there, I felt like, again, like I was saying before, just a little bit of me caring about the characters goes a whole long way. Like you can maybe still have some cinematography or editing that you need to do, maybe your visual effects isn't up to snuff, but you can kind of control the performance part a little bit, like a little bit more so than maybe the other ones, because the other ones are more technical. And if you can do that, you can really carry somebody through your story, and I think that's so important. And
I think this one is like between like the Rebels and the Sith and the setting. I think this one like felt the most Star Wars to me.
Yes.
Like I just really getting those like early days of fan film vibes off of it, and I was really liking that. Yeah.
I can see that too, for sure. And the makeup too, really killer on your Sith lady. Thought that was really her outfit too. I think it was
just the one with the VFX wound on the arm, because that's tough. Like that is some intense motion tracking.
I think that was special effects.
I think
not
that
VFX.
Yeah, I think that was practical.
Really?
Yeah.
It looked practical to me. Yeah. I also applaud an actress for wearing contacts, colored contacts, unless that was VFX.
Oh. No, I think those are contacts, and those are tough. Those are tough to work with.
Yeah.
All right, and then for our winner for the popular vote this year, it was one that you guys chose as your favorite this year, was Execution, the fight in the desert. I think that one just was really well paced. I was right there with the character right from the go of like him about to be executed, and then like getting out, and then again playing into the theme because that was them dealing with the escape situation. I think everything rolled very nice. There was a lot of creativity, like we all talked about that GoPro shot with the lightsaber.
So fun.
The kills were fun. You used a shield. You guys are always really creative with your stuff. And you guys did it again this year. All right, cool.
Yep. And Sylvia also said that the Anakin versus Obi-Wan was a very close fourth place.
Oh, yes. Make that mention. Yes, sorry about that. Very close fourth place, Anakin and Obi-Wan, which was another one that was just like really, really well performed. Like really, really cool.
From a lot of actors too. So
yeah. All right, so now we're going into the grand finale, the top 3 of this year's Saber Comp 2020. In third place, we have For the One. For the One. You guys want to explain what you guys liked about that one? Why that one was so elevated for you? What they were doing on all levels?
It's just the story of it. Like there was a very clear cut like save the girl storyline here, and it was just fun to watch. Like a good suspense and intensity the whole way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean it's like what you were just asking. What was our overall take? I think it was just one that just like a lot of it worked together really well,
Mhm.
and told its story and didn't throw in too much stuff and just was really solid.
Yeah. What I liked about that one was that I felt like I was staying connected to the main character through the whole fight. Like they kept cutting to his close-ups a lot of the time. And so like I never felt like I got, oh, we're having a story moment, now we're having choreography. They felt
Mhm.
very intermixed. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Valid. All right, cool. So congratulations to For the One, third place winner. I think that was their, I mean, while it was Jedi Passers, what, maybe fourth time technically entering.
Yeah,
It was
technically.
his children's first time. So great job.
Sounds like he might have been running the camera on this one. So.
Right, exactly. Nice. So we got for second place for SaberComp 2020. Drum roll, please. Boom! Execution is our second place winner.
What?
So of course we've been talking about you all the time. We talk about you with visual effects. Popular, but we talk about, you know why you guys are here. You guys are amazing. You guys did really well with the pacing and the flow and the choreography, the creativity. The performances were all there, both in the movement and in the acting of it as well.
Yeah. And the variety of the fighting style.
Exactly. All right, and then that leaves us with. I like it better when it pops up because it feels like cooler. So our winner for SaberComp 2020, which is going to be accompanied with a surprise announcement. So stick around after we announce who's the winner. Is Apex. Congrats again, guys. I believe this is their second win, and this is their first consecutive winning.
Is this the first time in the contest that it's had consecutive winners?
Ooh.
That's worth looking up.
Unless the Blind Wave guys did. I can't remember.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I need a historian to the deck.
It might be our first consecutive winner.
Yeah, you are very right. Actually, now I think about it.
Well, there's some bragging rights.
Like I was saying while we were watching the entry, it is. I'm not even gonna say almost indistinguishable. It's indistinguishable from a real production, like a professional production. Like if someone put that up and was like, "Oh yeah, this is like a TV show that's coming."
I mean, at this point, I would almost say it is a professional production.
Floodlights. They had the water effects. They had the production design. They had the stunts and the visual effects. Like it's just professional. Like
the only thing that's missing is a paycheck.
You don't get a paycheck this year. So what I'm trying to go, I've been trying to do this for like the past 4 years, get us sponsorships and have the prizes come back. Couldn't get a sponsorship this year, unfortunately. So I'm just going to do it out of pocket this year because I want the prizes to be back in this contest. So for this year,
hold on, everyone say thanks, Antoine.
What? Oh,
thanks, Antoine.
No, that's okay. I just want to get this contest back to where it was. So this year, I'm going to allow the winning team, which this year was the Apex team. I will give them $200 to spend on any of their favorite Saber sites. So what are the Kyber? What are the ones that are out there right now?
There's Kyber Light, Saber Forge, Saber,
Ultra Saber,
Ultra Saber.
So whichever one you guys like shopping at the most, let me know. Your budget's $200. That includes that does not include shipping, so it can go a little bit over. That's the case. So I'll hit you guys up in the Discord with my email, or actually, you know what? I can put the banner up so you guys can see where you can email us at to redeem that prize. It'll be info@sabercomp.com, right? That's our email.
That's correct.
Okay, let me see. Let me put that up so you guys can see it. So you guys can email us so you guys can redeem that. But again, congratulations to Apex and to everybody who joined this year. It was, like I was saying in the Discord, it was a really strong year for me. I felt like it was a lot more consistent in terms of everyone's quality level, going up a level, together. And I like seeing that the whole community is kind of building up together as it always does.
I was really concerned with, the events going on around the world that this would be kind of like a shallow year. We wouldn't get much brought to the table, but man, you guys brought it. This was one of our most solid years, I'd say.
Yeah. Yes. And we had a little different on the timeline and the whole contest, but I'm so glad everyone got to enter, and it was really fun going over everything this year.
Yeah.
Makes
Lizzie,
me
how
want
was
to
it
do
for
one next
you?
year.
It was your first time. How was it for you, Lizzie?
First time, pretty great. I don't know. I've always wanted to be able to call out the costumers and the makeup artists who work on these entries, because I know a lot of you put in a lot of hard work, and so that's mainly why I was excited to be here, was just to call you guys out and give you a little shout out. And I love fighting too, fighting and choreography and everything.
That's all right. That's all right.
Lizzie, you might be one of us. I'm not sure on that.
One of us. All right, guys. So a little reminder, like I said before, on bonfire.com/something, and I'm terrible for not knowing what the address is, but we are having the legacy shirts up online right now. So we have, and we also have new designs now, as well as sweatshirts. We have the long sleeves, and I think we have like not a baseball shirt, but like a long sleeve crew neck kind of a thing going on. We have more products that you guys can choose from, basically.
We have variety
Now, and they're always going to be consistent from now on, just so we can keep like the same thing without the number that dates us. And yeah, so if you want that, all profits for that goes to helping us fund the website and to fund the contest. So if you want to do that in some way, buying a shirt is the best way. Plus, you can walk around and someone's like, "What's that cool logo?" And then you can get into conversation to them, or
and that gets it going, and then we'll have more entries, and that's just what it's about. For love of the game,
right? So I think that's it. Really quickly, just before we sign out, each of you for an outro. Christopher, where can people find more of your work?
You can find me on YouTube. I believe it's under Spenceley now. But yeah, a lot of things under my old Vapor Trail Films banner. Consecutive years of highlight reels from past Saber comps. So yeah, I'm a little retired nowadays. I switched careers a while ago, but you'll see a lot of my older content there, and look out for more Saber comp content as it comes out.
Wait, where's your For Knowledge and Defense sequel? Was it
the sequel?
Well, not the Knowledge and Defense sequel. I think it was it was just the first one, right?
Yeah, it's just the first one. That's my old college project that hasn't quite seen the light of day yet. Yeah,
we all have those. We all have those.
Man, that's someday. I work on it when I'm snowed in and such. So,
Max, how about you? Where can people find more of your work?
Yeah, you can find me on most platforms at Max Jordan VFX. I'm also on YouTube, Max Jordan on there, and also if a lot more of my more recent stuff, because I don't post on YouTube that much, is on Abundant House Films. It's a production company I'm a part of.
But you guys just shot something recently, right?
Yeah, I just shot we did our first feature film. So that's currently my brother-in-law is actually sitting right next to me, currently editing it.
Oh, bring him over. That sounds like
they want you to peek
just
in.
Wave. I haven't seen him in such a long time.
Yep,
yeah,
there he is. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited about that. We hope to have a trailer within the next few months. And yeah,
stoked for that.
So,
I'm stoked for that.
I'm needing to see that before it's released. Just make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Lizzie, where can we find more of your work?
Well, most of my work you can see in Max's short films. I'm also a part of Abundant House Films, so you can see some of my work on their YouTube channel and on their website. And then if you want to see more of like my costuming work, I sometimes post on my Instagram account, which is just Lizzie Polling. So you can find me there if you are interested.
Polling is Poling.
Yes.
Awesome. And then I'm Antoine. You can literally just Google my name. You'll find all sorts of things about me. But that is it for Saber Cops 2020. Thank you all for coming out. And again, thank you for everyone who is entering. We will be back on May the 4th, 2021, which hopefully will be a much better year for all of us. And hopefully a really awesome year for the competition. Yeah. We are coming up to our 20th anniversary. Correct?
Did we decide that was 21 or 22?
22.
I believe we decided it was 22.
Yeah, 22. That's what I say. So in 2022, I want to plan out a big kind of like getting all the old hats to come back. Scott, I want you to come back, bro. Like, I want to reach out to all of them. If someone can find the Ho brothers, like I'm talking like that. Like,
if we only have a few entries for 2021, so y'all can bring it big in 2022, we're good with that.
Yeah. And the Yadfu guys, hopefully you can then,
all those. What was
like
that? What
all
was the
the
Tiger Fist people who I liked a lot. They did the really short entries, but they were always impactful. I'm gonna reach out to everybody, see where everybody's.
I would love to do like
everyone.
Eric Whiteley, like his team, the Blind Wave crew, get them over here too. Like everybody got to come back. But yeah, I'm excited for that, guys. We'll see you guys on the Discord again. If you guys aren't on our Discord, that's the best place to be for SaberComp these days. Facebook a little bit too, but definitely if you want to have like active discussion and like back in the old days of the boards where we're all like talking to each other, Discord is where you want to be. But we'll see you guys on the next one.
The comments are saying, so go see our winner. The final version of Apex is live now.
Oh, yes. So, yes, this year's winner, guys, if you guys want to watch the full version that is completed, go watch it now. It's on their website, not website, sorry, their YouTube. What is the actual YouTube name? Is it Yadi something? Something is Yadi.
I think it's Yadfu.
I think I got it right here. One second.
Just so we can get the right link in there so everybody can go watch it.
It's under Michael Yadvish on YouTube.
Oh, so it's his full name on YouTube?
Yep, Michael Yadvish.
So look for Michael. Actually, here, I'll put him up so you guys can see it. Whoa, that is the wrong. Sorry. Right there, guys. Go to just type in that name in YouTube, and you'll find the entry. The winner of this year's completed version of their entry.
Yep. And congrats again, guys.
Congrats, and everyone. Thank you for joining us. Judges, thank you for coming out and taking out 2.5, really 3 probably hours of your day to look at these entries.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yep. For sure.
Anytime.
All right, guys. Peace, love, and may the force be with you. Always.
TFBWY.